Welcome to this 30-minute foam roller and yoga flow workout, designed to help you gently alleviate your sore back and neck muscles from long days at a desk or in an ergonomically weird position. For this, any kind of foam roller will work. I'm using my little short one because it's a bit easier to maneuver, but a long foam roller is just as good. You can also use a tennis ball, a baseball, a lacrosse ball, something a bit bigger like a basketball or a soccer ball could even work. But if you don't have anything, no worries. Just skip ahead to 5 minutes into the video. We're starting out by putting the foam roller directly underneath our gluteus muscle, right at the top of the hamstring where it meets our booty. It feels so good to really deeply roll right in that section because that's where a lot of tightness builds up from sitting down all day long. When you've gotten a good massage, go ahead and switch to your other leg. When you roll, be sure that you actually apply real pressure to the muscle. The goal here is to break apart the fascia, which is connective tissue, in a layer between your skin and your muscle. It kind of hardens up throughout the day, and so breaking it apart by rolling it helps your muscles to freely stretch. Next, we're going to stretch out our piriformis, which is a thin, small muscle that connects the spine to the femur, and it's buried deep within the glute. So as you can see, I've angled the roller a bit, and I almost had to lift my glute muscle up and over the roller to really get it in at an angle. It's hard to describe exactly where it is, but you'll know it when you feel it. It's, like I said, deep within your gluteus muscle, and it feels deeply satisfying to really get in there with your roller. Sometimes a roller isn't quite enough. Sometimes just laying on the ground and placing a tennis ball underneath you, moving it around until you find the right spot, is just as good, if not better. Moving on, we're going to take our roller and place it on the ground, laying directly on top of it, placing your left hip muscle, your hip flexor, right on the roller. I like to either place my right foot to the side of me on the ground or place my knee on the ground to provide some sort of stability. And you do have to use a bit of arm strength here. You can have your forearms on the ground for stability, and you can also use your left toes to kind of press yourself forward and backwards to really roll that hip flexor muscle, both the front and the outside of it, on the roller. As you continue rolling, move the roller a bit further down your quad and start to roll your quad muscle. The more pressure you take off your back foot and your front arms, the more this will hurt. You can either press up to relieve the pressure or lay it all the way back down and you'll get a little bit more pressure. Continue to move the roller a little bit closer to your knee, but don't roll your knee. Just get right above it. And then take the roller and placing it on the ground, lay your left leg down over it and roll the outside of your left leg. This is your IT band. It gets really tight, and loosening this up helps loosen up everything connected to it, which ultimately includes your back. Switching sides now, place your right hip on the roller and using your left leg as a fulcrum and your right toes pressing down on the floor to press yourself forward and backwards, roll your right hip flexor on the foam roller. You might notice it feels different on one hip than the other. My right hip particularly hurt as I rolled, which you can see in my face. Make sure to get the outside of your hip flexor. And slowly move the foam roller down your thigh to get every part of your quad, rolling back and forth in small, isolated movements. This really helps to massage the fascia in that one particular spot and helps you get a little bit deeper. Note that the speed I'm doing this at might be a little bit too fast, might be a little too slow. It really is about your feelings, your muscles, what you're trying to achieve, how sore you are. Quickly roll your right IT band, which I forgot to do when I was filming this, as you can tell. And when you're ready, you can pause the video if you like, place your foam roller aside, and gently sink your hips back into a child's pose. Feel your hips sinking back toward your feet as far as they can. Meanwhile, press your palms into the floor in front of you, straightening your arms but not locking your elbows, relaxing your shoulder, breathing in deeply for 3 breaths. And when you breathe out, relaxing your chest closer to the ground, continuing to press into the ground for leverage, and then walking the fingers to the right, stretching out the left side of your body, keeping your hips as square as possible over your feet, your shoulders down and away from your ears. Then walk your fingers back to the center, and now walk your fingertips to the left, stretching out the right side of your body, feeling a deep stretch along your rib cage. Press up into a tabletop position. Take this time to find your breath once again, pressing your hands squarely into the floor, fingers spread evenly, knees hip distance apart, spine elongated. Extend your right hand forward and your left foot back so that your arm and leg are in one strong line. Breathe in and stay. Breathe out, meet your elbow to your knee. Breathe in, extend your arm and your leg once more. Breathe out, meet your elbow to your knee. Breathe in, extend your arm and leg into one straight line, and then place them both back down into tabletop position. Tuck your toes under and melt your heart forward, breathing in into cow position. Then contracting your stomach inward and arching your spine upwards, breathe out into cat position. Breathe in, cow. Breathe out, cat. Breathing in, extend your left arm and your right foot in opposite directions in one straight line. Breathing out, meet your elbow to your knee, and breathing in, extend them both into a straight line once more. Breathing out, meet your elbow to knee, extend once more. Place your hands and foot back down on the ground. Breathe in, cow pose. Breathe out, cat pose. Breathe in, cow pose, melting your heart open, relaxing your shoulders from your ears. Breathing out into cat pose, really feeling your abdominal muscles zippering in. Place your forearms down on the ground, maintaining an elongated spine. Sink your hips back toward your feet and stretch your fingertips forward. Tuck your toes under your feet if that's easier, and rock your pelvis forward so that your hips are in line directly over your knees, sinking your chest toward the ground as deeply as you can to really stretch out your chest and your pectoral muscles. You might not be able to get that far down, which is totally fine. Just really try and feel the stretch across your chest. Then press back up into tabletop position. Breathing in, press your feet under, and breathing out, press into downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths in this position, cycling your feet if you need to, stepping your feet and your hands wide apart if it feels better to you, bending your knees deeply if necessary so that you can maintain a straight spine. Then tiptoe or walk your feet all the way up to your hands. If it's comfortable to you, hang forward like a rag doll, clasping your elbows with your hands. But if you have any sort of back pain or spine issues that make this really uncomfortable, always remember that you can keep your hands on your knees or on your thighs and just maintain a slight forward fold. There's no need to hurt yourself. If this is feeling within range for you, making sure that your knees have a gentle bend in them. Place your hands on your lower back and then clasp them together behind you. stretching your arms as straight as possible and reaching them forward toward the wall in front of you, really stretching out your shoulders. Gently massage your hands along your hamstrings and your calves. Place them on the floor in front of you. Breathing in, lift up halfway. Breathe out. Breathe in, bending the knees, roll up very slowly, circling the arms up and overhead. Bringing your hands down in front of your face in prayer position. Gently arch the upper back backwards, just gently, just to open the chest. Circle the arms up and around your head. Bring your hands back on either side of you in a cactus position to arch a little deeper. Breathing out, fold forward. Breathe in, lift halfway up. Breathing out, step your left foot back into a low lunge. Place your hands on your knee and really focus on keeping your hips square, your thighs scissored, and your spine elongated. If it's comfortable for you, place your left hand down on the ground on the inside of your right foot, or on a block if that's a bit easier. And you can place your right hand on your knee, on your lower back, or extend it up into an easy twist. Again, if you have spinal issues, this might not be the most comfortable position. You really want to focus on internally rotating your core and abdominal muscles. Reach your arms up overhead, then taking your left wrist in your right hand, pull your left arm up and over to your right side, really feeling a deep stretch in your left side body. Lift back up, place your hands back on the floor on either side of your foot, and slowly open your hips so that you're facing forward into a forward bend with your legs apart, pigeon-toeing the feet inwards. With your hands at your hips, slowly lifting your upper body up to standing with a straight spine. Bring your right arm under your left and either clasp your opposite shoulders, really stretching out your upper back, or bring your hands into eagle position, doing the same thing, really feeling a stretch across your upper back. Breathing in, feel the strength in your legs and your hips. And breathing out, slowly bend forward, maintaining a straight spine, really letting your shoulders and your arms just hang. Then releasing your hands, stretching across to your opposite legs if you can, or just regularly stretching forward, grasping your legs. Then shift forward back into lunge with your right foot forward and your left knee on the ground. Wiggle your right foot outward so that it's on the outside of your mat and forward a bit with your foot at a 45-degree angle. And slowly sink further down, lowering your upper body closer to the ground if you can, and straightening that left leg if you'd like to get a deeper stretch. You should really feel this in your right hip and on the outside of your gluteus muscle on the right. And you should also feel it in your left hip flexor. If you have it accessible, reach up and over and clasp your left foot, bending the knee and stretching out your left quad. If you can't reach, that's totally fine. You can also use a strap or just stay where you are. Then wiggle the right foot back to the center, lift up into lunge and into downward facing dog, breathing in and out. Tiptoe or walk your feet all the way up to your hands once more. Breathe in, lift halfway up with a straight spine. Breathe out, bend all the way forward, gently bending the knees and stepping the right foot back now into a low lunge with your left foot forward, your hips as square as possible, your hands placed on your left knee, inner thighs scissoring, abdominal muscles engaged, spine elongated. Placing the right hand down on the ground, lift into easy twist on the left side, stretching your arm toward the sky, breathing in, and on each out breath, sinking a bit further internally into that twist. Place the hands down on the ground in front of you, and then lift them up overhead. Clasp your right wrist with your left hand and reach toward the left, making sure that your hips stay square and that your right side is getting a deep stretch. Relax the shoulders. And stretch back up. Place the hands back down on the ground. Reach into a forward fold to the side, pigeon-toeing your feet inwards so that your feet are as wide apart as is comfortable for you. Rock back and forth, feeling the stretch in your hip joints. Slowly raise up with a straight spine, and this time with your left arm under your right, either grasping your opposite shoulders or with hands in eagle pose, stretch out the upper back. Then gently, with a straight spine, bend forward all the way. Really releasing the shoulders, swaying back and forth, comfortable. Breathing in, stretch a little bit deeper, releasing the hands, and breathing out, rotate forward back into lunge. Placing the hands on the inside of your left foot, wiggling it out to the outside of your mat, 45 degrees, sink further down in the hips, placing your forearms down on the ground if you can, and stretching out and straightening your right knee if possible to deepen the stretch. If it's available to you, place the knee down and reaching the left arm up and overhead, stretch back, grab the foot, and bend the knee to stretch the right quad. This is a deep stretch, just breathe into it. Wiggle your left foot back into a low lunge, then step back into downward facing dog once more, stepping the feet apart comfortably. Then sink down onto the forearms, maintaining the same downward dog position, and slowly tiptoe the feet toward you if possible, maintaining a straight spine, really feeling your shoulders working, feeling your chest opening up, focusing on engaging your abdominals to lift your pelvis and hips up to the sky. Then lower down into a tabletop and sink your hips back onto your feet, lifting your arms up overhead with a deep breath in. Clasping your arms together, breathing out, stretch to the right side, keeping your hips down on your feet, everything else square. Breathing in, lift up. Breathing out, stretch to the left. Feeling a deep stretch in your right side. Back up. Lift your hips up off your feet. Bring your hands into prayer position. Now, place your hands in a prayer position behind your back if possible, or just place your hands on your lower back gently. Slowly arch your upper spine, being sure not to overly curve or compress your spine right now. Just gently opening up your chest. That's the goal. Now, if you're able to, place your hands on your lower back and bend a little deeper, pressing the hips forward, tucking your toes under your feet if that helps to increase your stability, and leaning your head back all the way if it's comfortable. Coming back up with a deep breath, lift your arms overhead into prayer position, sink your hips back down, and step back into a tabletop. Keeping your hips in as neutral a position as possible, reach your right arm up to the right and overhead, and then thread the needle, threading your right arm under your left arm, tucking your body underneath your left arm essentially, and really feeling a stretch in that right shoulder. If you need to, place your left hand a little bit further forward to create leverage, and if it really feels good, take your left arm and reach it all the way behind your lower back, and if you can even grasp your right thigh with that hand. Place your left arm back down when ready, and then open back up with your right arm, opening the chest and placing the hand back down on the ground. Then repeat on the other side, lifting the left arm up, threading the needle, stretching out the left shoulder, and opening up the chest as much as possible by taking the right hand forward to create leverage, or if you have stability and you're comfortable here, reaching the right arm to your lower back or to grasp your left thigh. Really try to keep your hips even and square as possible here, and don't overdo it in this twist if it's uncomfortable on your spine. Place your hands back down and then make your way to a seated position, sitting back on your feet, and then sitting your booty just to the left of your feet so that they're tucked to your side. If it's more comfortable on your knees, you don't have to bend them so much. They don't have to be tucked quite so close to you. Take your left arm and reaching it up and overhead with a deep breath. Stretch out your left side, placing your right fingertips on the ground to your right. Now taking your right hand, reach it up and over your head and gently press your head against your shoulder, stretching out the left side of your neck. With your fingertips on the left side extended to the floor. Slowly and gently rock your head slightly forward and your left hand slightly back to feel a bit of a stretch in the back of your left neck. And swing your legs back to the other side. And with your right hand up and overhead, stretching your right side deeply, placing your left fingertips on the ground on your left side or grasping your feet. Deep breath in. And with a deep breath out, place your right hand back on the ground. Take your left hand over your head and gently pull your head to your left shoulder, stretching the right side of your neck very gently. Reaching your right fingertips toward the ground on your right side, and then slowly taking your head forward to get a bit of a stretch in the back of your neck. Now come back into a tabletop position. Breathing in, reach your right leg out behind you and bending the knee. Lift the knee and your hip up and to the right, really stretching it out. If this is comfortable, stay here. If you'd like, lower yourself all the way to the ground and take the same movement with your foot, stretching your left shoulder with your arms on either side of you perpendicularly. You should really just feel that across the chest and a bit in the spine. Pressing back up into a tabletop position this time, take your left leg back and behind you, bending the knee, really stretching the hip, moving it around. If this is comfortable, stay here. If you'd like, lower all the way down. Take the same movement again with the left leg up and behind you. Take your arms perpendicularly and really feel the stretch in the right side of your chest, in your pectoral muscles and your shoulder, and a bit of a twist in your spine. Breathe deeply. Come back to center. Press your way all the way back up and back into a child's pose. In the same way as when you started class, use your hands to really press your hips back toward your feet, simultaneously elongating your spine. And notice if you feel any more limber or any better than you did at the beginning of class. Breathing in, lift up and move into a seated position with your sits bones on the floor and your feet on the ground in front of you. Now take your right foot and cross it over your left knee with your left leg bent a bit and your left foot flat against the floor. You're in a figure 4 position and using your arms behind you in a way that's comfortable, press your pelvis forward toward your left heel until you can't comfortably do so anymore. You should really feel this stretch on the outside of your right gluteus muscle and your right hip flexor. And you should maybe even feel a bit of a stretch in your inner thighs or in your groin. To the extent possible, keep your feet flexed to protect your knee, and don't bend your knee or rotate it in a way that's uncomfortable. If you feel any pain, ease off. Extend your right leg straight, bend your left knee and place your left foot against your inner thigh or against your calf if you can't quite bend it that far. Reach up straight with a long spine and extend forward as far as you can without bending your spine. And then breathing in, breathe out and fully relax over your foot, either grasping the foot or, if you can't, grasping your knee, your thigh, or the floor on either side of your thigh. Breathing in, stretch back up. Now take your left foot, cross it over your right knee, making sure that your foot isn't directly on the knee, that your left foot is flexed. And slowly press your hips toward your right heel, really opening the left outer hip and gluteus muscle, feeling a bit of a stretch in your groin muscle. Pressing the hands back and making sure the shoulders press away from your ears and that your spine is as straight as possible. And then sit back, extend your left foot forward with your right foot against the inside of your left leg. Reaching up, breathing in, breathe out and stretch your spine long over your left hamstring. Breathing in and then breathing out and relaxing all the way down over your leg. Being sure to engage your thigh muscle without locking your knee. Breathing in, sit back up. Jiggle the legs out in front of you a little bit. And straighten them, flex the feet, reaching up with a deep breath in. Extend the arms forward and either place them on your thighs, your knees, the ground on either side of your legs, or clasp your feet if you can. With each breath in, expand your heart forward, and with each breath out, melt your body deeper, letting your muscles relax a little bit further. Remembering not to press too far if it hurts your back. Breathing in, pressing forward with bent knees, arms reaching forward, and breathing out, rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Pull your knees in toward your chest, and then grasp your feet if you can in a happy baby, rocking back and forth, really rolling out your glutes, your back, opening up your hips once more, pressing your hands against your feet. Once more, grasp your knees to your chest, tightly squeezing every muscle, and then relaxing, sink back into a deep Shavasana relaxation pose. Take a deep breath in, solidifying all the work that you did to keep your muscles loose and happy as you spend what might be more than normal amounts of time sitting at a desk or in an uncomfortable position. Now, for the last moments of class, feel the deep relaxation you've earned. And breathe deeply. Slowly start to wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing awareness back into your body and with a deep stretch of your arms overhead. Breathe in and breathe out, rolling to your right side. Taking a couple breaths in a fetal position and then pressing up when you're ready. Eyes still closed in a comfortable seated position. Hands in prayer position at the heart. Feel the strength of your core and relief in those muscles that you just stretched and loosened. Bringing your palms to your third eye on your forehead. Breathe in and sinking forward. Breathe out. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope that you feel happier, healthier, and that you're ready for whatever the day or week has in store for you.